Hi, my name is Alejandro Yegros and I'm the maker of CONJUGUEMOS, and this is a tutorial for CONJUGUEMOS 2.0 which was released in late 2018. This tutorial is about the My Activities page, which for those of you old-time users, it's what used to be called the Teacher Zone. If you really miss the old site, that is actually still available when you log into the new site. There's that link there. I recommend you don't use the old site, but the option is still available. Okay, let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to explain is that in the My Activities page, you have this code up here. This is your teacher code. You should give this to your students when they register. That way, they will be linked to you and they will be able to see the activities that you post in your My Activities page. In order to add activities to the My Activities page, you click on Add Activity. It's going to give you these options. I'm going to select Spanish. I'm going to select Verb. And I'm going to select Create New. Click Continue. And it's going to ask me for a title. So I'm going to do Test Imperfect. Imperfect Review. I'm going to review the imperfect tense. You select tenses here. You don't need to add instructions. I almost never do. You can select really as many tenses as you want. I could do imperfect present or whatever, but this is just going to be an imperfect activity. To add verbs, you can pick them from our library, or you can create your own verb as well. I'm going to just select from my library, so I'm going to pick these random verbs here. Then I'm going to take tener and things like that. And that's 6 verbs, that's plenty. And then I click Continue. In the next page, the finalizing page, it's going to give you 2 options. You can assign to classes and add to folder. The purpose of assigning to classes is to limit which classes can see the activity. So if you have 4 classes and I select Intermediate 1, that means that only the students in the Intermediate 1 class are going to be able to see this activity. You don't need to do this. If I leave it blank, it's going to be everybody can see it. But if I select Intermediate 1, only they can see it. And then folder is to control how you organize your activities. This is for your own sake, so you don't have a mess of activities in your My Activities page. So I'm going to put this in the Intermediate 1 folder. So again, assigning is for controlling who sees the activities on their end. Folder is for organizing the activities on your end. I click Finish. It takes me back to the My Activities page. It's being a little bit slow. And then there it is. Imperfect tense review activity assigned to Intermediate 1. And as you can see over here in the folders area, it's in the Intermediate 1 folder. And you can click on any of these folders to see what's in each of them. So my Honors Spanish only has 1. One more thing that I'll add about adding activities is that you can also add listening activities if you're a Spanish teacher. I really recommend people use this. When you do listening activities, you'll be asked to choose from any of these topics on the left. And so, for example, I'm going to do la ropa. And so la ropa, I've got these options. These are people talking about their clothing. And when you import it, basically the kids are going to have access to this video and the comprehension and listening activities that are graded available for that video. And these activities would show up in your gradebook. So I really recommend people use this. It's a very powerful feature to practice listening, and you don't have to grade anything. And there's probably about 68 videos available or something like that. So a lot of activities can carry through a year of Spanish 2 or something like that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the last way to add activities, which is importing activities. When I import, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is you can go back to Add Activity. Let's do Spanish again, and let's do vocabulary. And then let's do Import. And then you press Continue. And you can search by a variety of fields here. Activity name, creator. You could search by hablar or whatever. That's one way to import is by using this search tool. The other way of importing is you can actually, if you ever see a public activity that you like, so for example, let's say I use the book Avancemos. I click on it here, Avancemos activity 3.1. Up here you'll see a button called Save Activity. You click on that and your activity is going to show up in your teacher zone right there. It's not in any folder, so it's in an all activities area and it's unassigned, but it's right there. So now if you want to edit this activity, I'm going to talk about various ways of editing it. If you want to edit it, you can click on this icon to assign it to a specific class. If you want to edit the rest of it, here you can also modify the class, or you can also change the folder right here. And if you want to edit the content, you click on Edit Activity Content, and there's the activity, and you can delete words up here. You could also scroll down to add more words. So this is how you would edit an activity. And then this little 3-dot menu is for the remaining options that you have. So you can print it, you can make a copy, share it, and so on. I'll talk about archiving is the one option I'll talk about. Archiving is basically like a soft way of deleting. Archiving is when you want to hide the activity from everybody. So if you click archive, it's going to ask you that. And if you were to click sure, all your archived activities are here. So I have a ton. These are activities that are still in your account, but nobody can see. They're hidden. And if you want to remove them, if you want to take them back to the archive, you can click either unarchive, it takes them back, or you can just delete them permanently if you wish. Okay. The last thing I'm going to talk about is folders. Folders, again, are good for organizing your activities, and the folders are right here. If you clicking on them, it'll show different views. And if you want to add a folder, you can go here at the folder name. So let's do testing folder 2. You can link it to a class. So it means that my testing folder 2, let's say it's for my honors. I link it to my honors. That means that all activities inside that folder are going to be assigned to my honors classes. So testing folder 2, only my honor students will be able to see it. So it's a nice little feature. And the other thing I wanted to say, if you want to delete folders, you click here and you can relink it, you can rename it, or delete it. And the last thing I'll say is if you want to view what your students are viewing, you can click here, View a Student, and it gives you these options. And so you select Intermediate 1, for example. This is what your Intermediate 1 students will see when they log in. So this is how you view. This is how you make sure that you were able to do what you wanted to do. And then if you want to get back to the original page, you press My Activities. And if you want to send them a message that shows up in that student view, you click here, you select the class, and then you do that. That's my message. And so when I go to the Intermediate 1 class, there's my very brilliant message. So that's my tutorial for the My Activities page. I hope you enjoy it. And I look forward to you using my site. Thank you. Bye-bye.